In the headlines, Ministry of Housing decentralizing National Housing Reconstruction Program, Resilient Dominica undertaking major solar energy project in Soufriere, and climate resilient model homes completed in Marigot. Hello and welcome to National Focus. I'm Prisca Julien. Stay tuned for details of headline stories and others coming up. Welcome back. The southern communities of Point Michel, Soufriere and Scott's Head now have an opportunity for further development and, as the Member of Parliament puts it, becoming the mecca of tourism in Dominica. However, key to assisting the development of the unique products which will be offered to visitors in these parts is the concept of sustainable living. The organization Resilient Dominica, funded by owner of Petit Colibri, Daniel Laglo, has begun a solar project in Soufriere as a proof of concept that communities can have access to power soon after a major disaster.
Most of us know a lot more about solar than we did 1 year ago. Whether it's putting your light out in the sun at night and letting it charge and bringing it into your house at night, at a very basic level, we all understand it's possible to get free power. Domlec might not like the fact that once they turn the lights back onto your houses, you're not going to be using quite as much electricity as you used to use before Maria, right? So we're not looking to replace electricity, but we're looking to subsidize electricity in the community.
Simon Walsh is the project manager for Resilient Dominica. The organization wants to drive sustainability in terms of energy in these communities by installing solar panels which can easily be removed before a storm and replaced afterwards for immediate access to power. The organization is concerned about bringing immediate solutions for resilience.
No matter what the government decides, and they're making good decisions about geothermal and hydroelectricity and all of these things, that the electricity is still distributed into our communities over the same lines of distribution. And those lines are telephone poles and wires that run close to the sea and get broken during hurricanes and big waves. So for many of our communities, that is not an immediate resiliency solution. But what is very resilient and very immediate is to put solar panels on your roof. You take them off before the storm. When the storm passes, you put them back up, and then you can have electricity the day after Maria. You could have electricity in your house that would be shareable amongst your community. So
this development is also expected to assist the fishing community, as fisherfolk depend on an icebox to preserve the quality of the catch. Walsh says after considering several options for such a project, installing solar panels on the roofs of houses is a concept his organization is hoping will be a solution.
The goal of what we're doing is actually proof of concept, because we just went up to Miami and met with the Clinton Foundation, and we met and sat with people from all over the world, basically, that were looking to help places that have been hit by hurricanes. And most of them are looking at different types of solutions than what we have proposed. They're looking at putting a large solar field somewhere where that is, again, you're generating a lot of electricity, but you're on what you need is a huge flat piece of land, which we don't have a lot in Dominica. We cannot be taking over our sports fields or our flat lands and using them. The other things they're using in some areas in Puerto Rico right now are large commercial roofs, which could happen a little bit in Dominica, but in Point Michel, no. In Soufriere, no. In Scott's Head, no. So our approach of using residential houses to do small microgrids is being looked at, and we've already got people supporting and wanting to come on board and do more.
He is hoping that once this concept can be proven in Soufriere, the organization can move to installing panels in other parts of the south. In more news, no efforts is being spared on ensuring the over 90% of Dominica's housing stock destroyed by Hurricane Maria is reconstructed to meet standards which will ensure that the country does not suffer such a loss in the event of another massive storm. Government has drafted a plan to decentralize the management of the reconstruction program. Village councils across the country through the Ministry of Housing have received funding to help several households in over the past few months, but Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Housing, Lucian Blackmore, has revealed that moving forward, the reconstruction process will be managed by technical centers which have been set up in the 7 districts across the country.
You should be aware that to undertake the redevelopment of the country, the government has made a very informed and deliberate decision to ensure we use the model that we know have worked very well in the past, and that is the model used successfully by the primary healthcare department of the Ministry of Health. And the way they did it was to decentralize the health program by ensuring there were 7 health districts. And that's why we're ensuring that we have 7 housing or development districts. And they are namely Portsmouth, Marigot, Castlebruce, La Plaine, Grand Bay, Roseau, and St. Joseph.
He says there will be more than 7 technical centers as some districts are large and will require more offices. For example, the East will have 2 offices with the main in Castlebruce and a branch in the Kalinago territory. The South will also have 3 offices with the central office in Roseau and offices in Maho and Lubia. All this, Blackmore says, is to ensure the success of the program. The center is expected to be staffed with personnel from the Ministry of Housing as well as the Physical Planning Division.
The physical planning staff is very important because the whole question of approval, advisory, and very important to ensure that there is compliance and enforcement, a building regulation, building code going forward.
Meantime, the Ministry of Housing held a resilient building and project supervision training session for the staff of the Ministry of Housing and the Physical Planning Division last Friday. The staff undergoing the training are expected to form part of the teams at the district technical centers. Topics covered in the sessions focused on building resilience and understanding climate change. Participants also discussed housing concerns during a disaster to include location of homes, building shapes, foundation, roofs, floors, and windows and doors. You're watching National Focus. When we return, model climate resilient homes completed in Marigot. Welcome back. 2 climate-resilient model homes donated to families in Marigot have been completed. That project is a collaboration between the Dominica Charity Foundation and the HR Projects of Switzerland. On Friday, GIS News visited the project site for these homes as finishing touches were being done. We spoke to project organizer and caretaker of the Marigot constituency, Dayton Baptist, who gave specifications of the model homes.
The structure is 20 by 26, make out of 4 by 4 and 1 by 6 and 4 by 8 and screws. And it also is the model of the first time homes where we use the mortise and tie, and we use these screws and tie each one of the joint. So I can say it can resist some form of hurricane, category 5 if possible. So it's a very good structure that I can recommend for our country at this time.
Project manager of the Dominica Charity Foundation HR Project of Switzerland, Hans Kudi, explained that the wooden structures are built to withstand major hurricanes.
It's a fully wooden structure with joints and holes and put all together. And even we have these iron bars to screw it everything together. So if it's really hurricane resistant. If something is going to happen in a hurricane, then it will not fall apart, the most thing that can happen here is it takes the whole house and plays it on another on another situation if it's not properly mounted to the foundation. But if you have a proper foundation and you can really bolt it down, then I guarantee really a safe house in a hurricane situation.
Baptiste added that those structures are also built with consideration of seismic activity.
The structure is also built to withstand even earthquake. Because of the type of screws that we use, it is very flexible. It could move with the movements of the soil, according to how the earthquake, how the soil is rocking. The building won't collapse. These screws will hold it together. They won't break. They will flex with the movements of the soil. So it is a structure that can also stand with earthquake.
For Dominicans doubtful of the strength of the wooden model buildings, Hans Cully had this to say.
The wood has to be completely pressure treated, so against termites. That's probably the main concern about we have. But if that is all right, then I think wooden houses are absolutely a solution for this country here.
He explained that even with considering damages from animals such as termites, the local woods of Dominica are mostly naturally resistant to such, and guarantees the recipient families would now be living in a safe dwelling. One family is a 6-member household, while the other is a household of 4.
The people who are going to move in here, they live in a makeshift home in camp, and it's a family of 4. And the other one is a family of 6. They also live in a makeshift home in Sam's Water.
The vision of the caretaker of the Marigot constituency is to erect a number of these homes for families still in need from passage of Hurricane Maria.
My hope is that I would love to see in the future that at least if we could, just like how they build a village in Pitchley, if we could build a village in Marigot with these sort of houses, that would be very good, because the wood itself, the sea blast can't do it anything. The structure itself, the sea blast won't do it anything, and I think it falls in line with the natural ambience of the community, you know. So instead of having to, people feel that wooden structures are not won't do well in Dominica, but it's one of the best structures I can recommend for Dominica, especially these sort of model homes, you know. So I believe I would want to see that if government could acquire some of these homes and let us put a nice little village in the community of Marigot.
Each home took approximately 1 week for construction and was erected at about a cost of $95,000. Baptiste reported that the team came in with all material required for construction.
The team came in with everything that they needed to build the homes. Mr. Hans, who is the manager of the team, he's an expert in forestry, and he's the one who prepared the lumbers, prepare all of the material, pressure treat them, go to the forest and cut them himself, and get his team to cut up the house and frame it up and put it together, pack it in a container and bring every bit and pieces with them. Everything that they need, they brought it with them, so that they don't have any time to delay with anything at all. So that was very good. Even up to, as you can see, we had a tent over the structure. When rain was falling, it didn't prevent us from working, so we could have still worked even though the weather is bad.
Expressing gratitude to the Switzerland organization, he described the homes as a gift of high quality.
We have a team from Switzerland out of 5. This is now 2 weeks since we've been building, and we have already get up 2 houses. So I want to say at this time, thanks to the team from Switzerland for coming and assist us in our time of need, and also thanks to the government for allowing the team to be here to do this sort of work for our people. I must say it had its challenging time, but it worked out to be all right. I really appreciate what the team has done and what they will continue to do. So I'm just hoping in the future that we as Dominican will learn to appreciate and show love to people to Switzerland that sacrifice their time and monies to help us in Dominica. once again, on behalf of the people of Marigot and the family that will be receiving the homes, I want to say thanks to the people in Switzerland for such a donation. I think it is a gift of high class. It's a valuable gift. It's the first time I see a gift like that. You could really call it a gift. That if you look on the inside, the quality of facets and things that are in there, you could see it of standard. I can't recall anybody giving me a gift with a jacuzzi.
This valuable project came from a vision conceptualized by Baptiste and Hans Gully.
I met Mr. Hans through Mary Sylvester. Mr. Hans came on vacation and stayed by Mary Sylvester, and Mary Sylvester had a talk with him, and realizing he was a man dealing with the forest, knowing myself and Mary's relationship for development for Dominica, she called me and asked me to have somebody for me to meet. I met with Mr. Hans and we started talking, and that's where the relationship began. So again, I want to say thanks to her.
That's news. Stay tuned for your tip of the day. Today's tip includes ways for staying hydrated during the summer. Make it a goal to start each day by drinking a full glass of water to get a head start on your fluids. Try putting a glass of water by your bed to drink right after you wake up. If you are in the market for a new water bottle, get one that is clear. This way you can see how much or how little water you have consumed. This can be a helpful motivator to fill up and drink up. And write down how much water you drink to keep track with your daily goal. A digital app may be an easier version for this activity. That's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS on facebook.com/GIS News Dominica and follow us on Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I am Prisca Julien. Thanks for watching.